on from our social empowerment team, we'll have Team ProTech. So they've also tackled the problem statement to reduce stimming for the neurodiverse community. So let's take a look at their solution. So Team ProTech, you guys can take it away.
Okay. Hi, my name is Brendan, and working alongside me are Kurt, Rafiq, Kritik, and Kenny. And together, we are Team ProTech. We are a group of students from Singapore Polytechnic studying aeronautical engineering, and we participated in Tech for Good as we believe in helping others who are in need through the use of technology by using the knowledge that we have learned from our school and the knowledge that we have gathered from our mentor. We aspire to make a positive change to the community. We also would like to take this time to mention our mentor, Mr. Fauzi, who we have had the honor of working with throughout the project. Without his guidance, we would not be where we are today. Now, let me talk about what we will be going through today. Firstly, I'll be talking about our community partner, followed by our problem statement. Then Kurt will talk to you about our solution and finally its benefits. With that, let us move on to our community partner. For this project, we are honored to have the privilege of working alongside Melbourne Specialist International School, also known as MSIS. MSIS is a truly innovative school that will challenge others to rethink how special education is taught by using a three-pronged approach to education. Their purpose is to give all children access to high-quality education designed to meet their requirements, as they want every child to aspire and succeed. Now, let us discuss our problem statement. Our problem statement is to make a communication device for non-verbal students that have challenges with gross motor skills, such as children with cerebral palsy and ataxia, to name a few. Now, I would like to pass on my time to Kurt to talk about our solution and its benefits. Kurt, please.
Thank you, Brendan, for your in-depth coverage of our community partner and our problem statement. Now, I will be talking about our solution. So our solution is two buttons that are programmed to either make a yes or no sound output, turning on and off LED lights and display a yes or no message on a special Bluetooth app when it has been pressed by the students. Now, let us go in depth into each aspect of our solution, starting with the sound. When one of the buttons is activated, a yes or no command can be heard by the speakers to indicate whether the student is saying yes or no depending on which button is pressed. Our buttons will be used to execute the yes or no commands and will be customizable in the sense that their locations can be customized for each user using our button holder. Furthermore, since we utilize an ESP32 microchip to program the button, we could edit the code to output and display different messages if needed, with as many buttons as needed. But for simplicity's sake, we stuck to two so that it will be easier for the students to use. Besides the sound output from the button, there is also an LED light to indicate that the button has been pressed. With our configuration, when a green LED light, it will display a green LED light when a yes button is pressed, and when a no button is pressed, it will display a red LED light. As you can see on the slides, the top picture refers to when the LED light is green, which means that the button is pressed, and on the bottom picture, it is red, which means the LED light is, which means the button is released. So on top of being a good indicator for when the button has been pressed, it can also act as something to let the user have fun while pressing the button. Finally, last but not the least, the Bluetooth app. When our buttons are pressed, the ESP32 microchip will send a Bluetooth signal to a mobile device with our specially programmed app. This app will then display a yes or no depending on which button is pressed. Now let us move on to the benefits of our solution. Our users will be generally happier since they are finally able to be understood much more easily by their fellows and peers. Yes? Yes. We're actually in the middle of a presentation right now. Would you like to hear our presentation first? Then you can consult more on us. Hey, what's up?
No, I think you're muted on that side, the other town. Yeah. Okay, never mind, I handle him. You continue.
All right, so sorry for the disturbance. So benefits, yes. Our users will be generally happier since they are able to be understood much more easily by their fellow peers and family. We also foresee that there will be increased communication with the button as others will communication with the button between students and others will be improved significantly. Finally, last but not the least, the solution is inexpensive and therefore very easy to replicate, which will be very good for getting similar devices into the hands of other people who are suffering from the same issues. With that, we have come to the end of our presentation. Thank you for your attention, and we are now open for questions.
Thank you for your presentation, Team ProTech. Maybe I'll just start off. Do you guys have any plans to further develop your solution?
Okay, so currently for our sound system, I feel that one is something that would be good to expand on. But in our case, we actually there were some errors with the sound output system. So the first step we will want to expand on is to make sure that the sound system works first. Other plans that we currently have is to make full sentences. So for example, we would actually like to make different types of buttons, different amount of buttons instead of 2 buttons, maybe 3 or 4 buttons on each side, and then the students will press each button depending on what they want to say. So that would be something that we would like to work on. But first, I feel that we need to fix the sound output issue first.
Okay, thank you for sharing. I think someone else also has another question. Someone asked what the difference between your buttons and buttons that are already used is. I think buttons that already exist.
Oh, okay. I'll answer this one. So for us, I guess the unique point of our buttons, right, is like the customizability of the location. So right, we're using a clip or some kind of holder to hold the button, and it can be adjusted to meet every student's needs. Yeah. So the different students of the Melbourne Specialist International School have different amount of control of their limb. So we could adjust the location of the button depending on how to make it more ergonomical for them and more easy for them to press.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for explaining that. I think someone also has a similar question, but if you have anything else to add on, you can add on as well. The next question is, what makes your prototype different from the little Mac switch or recordable button? I'm not sure if your answer for that would be the same.
Okay, so our answer or not will still be the same, because that is the main point of our product. Okay, so when we actually conducted this research, we actually spoke with Mr. Darrow, the principal of the Melbourne Specialist International School, and he said that different students have different range of mobility for their limbs, and they have different so for example, some students can move their finger like that, some can just move just a little bit, and some can extend their limbs, some can just move like maybe a few cm. So with all those buttons, I feel that ours, what differentiates ours from them is really the convenience and the customizability. So because ours is to be attached on the pram, so our users are actually sitting on a pram, so we can use the whole peripheral of the pram because it is made by rods, right? Mr. Darrell actually sent us a picture of their pram, so it's actually made of a rod or something that we can attach the holder to. So I feel that we can attach it anywhere along there. If this does not work, we can also build another extension stand for them so that their range of motion will be so much more comfortable for them. Yeah.
Thank you for answering that question. Maybe one last question I had was, what was the most exciting thing about working on this project for all of you?
Okay, because when we first started out, we did not have any knowledge on this because we're not electrical students. So we actually had to research a lot. And the best part that happened was when the light actually turned on when we pressed the button.
It was like very long to
and we could get the sound to output for a little while, and then I think there were some errors, and then it couldn't come out again. So that was the bad part.
Do the rest of you have any other exciting moments from working on this project besides what Kurt has mentioned? Maybe Rafiq, do you have anything? Yeah.
The most exciting part is the thought of being able to help the disabled, in my opinion. Like I'm doing something to help those in need. and not doing something just for my own pleasure. So the end goal is the best part for me lah, is to help others. That's for me lah. For them, I'm not sure. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Okay, maybe just one more question. What do you think your biggest challenge was, like at working as a team on this project?
I think for me, for speaking for the team also lah, for us the hardest part was, getting to really putting ourselves in the shoe of the student and understanding their daily life. Because like from an outsider's perspective, right, it's like, you don't really know what's going on. And if you just look from an outsider's perspective, it's kind of hard to build a device for them because you don't really know what goes on in their life and how the device would, fit their life. So with after interviewing the principal and getting to know more about these students, right, I think that was quite fulfilling lah.
Okay, to add on to what Brandon says, I think the most difficult part is the programming side of things and the electrical side, because all of us are not like experts in this field. So we find it very difficult to make things work. And like what Kurt mentioned, when we actually made something work, we were really happy about it. Yeah. So that's the biggest struggle in my opinion, because we took a long time to make things work with the help of our mentor. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing on your journey. That's all the time we have. So thank you again.